Hello, fellow modelers. It's Bruce here. Welcome to the Jersey Highlands Bruce YouTube channel. Doing a little scratch building again, only this time it's a pretty darn small structure. Probably not the smallest structure that I ever scratch built. I did scratch build a tree house a while back, but it's down there. The structure is a chicken coop. For the scene that I'm doing by the company houses for the Bangor Slate, one of my like-to-haves listed in, when I always make a list of what I want to put in the scene, was a chicken coop. Now, I think it's Prizer has a fancy chicken coop, multi-layer stacked with some chickens and everything, and I have that, but it doesn't really fit the time period of the Bangor Slate. Show up someplace else on the Jersey Highlands, but railroad, but not there. So I Googled HO scale chicken coops, and what kept popping up was a nice kit. It's from Woodland Scenics. It's a white metal kit in their little structure series, and it's supposed to look like something made out of scraps of wood laying around the barn or farm. You know, under the front of the coop there you see some corrugated metal siding. Over here I see a sheet of plywood. Here's some strip wood. Very rustic looking, and it came or comes with chickens and everything else. That was about the only thing I saw. There was one or two other styrene examples from older manufacturers. But first of all, it's a little bit bigger coop than what I wanted. And secondly, they were running on eBay anywhere from $20 to $26 by the time you put the shipping in. And I decided, what the heck, I've been spending enough money on other things to complete the scenes that I'm doing. I might as well just go in my scrap box, and I got plenty of scrap wood, and I even have some corrugated metal siding, and so I decided to scratch build one instead. Now, anytime you're going to scratch build something, the first thing you have to decide is, the dimensions. Do a little sketch, and to kind of take it from there. And that's what I did. Just took a piece of graph paper and sketched out the front and one side of the coop. One side's going to have a window in it, and the other side isn't. The scale I used here is 2 squares is a foot, so I made it look quite large. It really is nothing like that. So the front of the coop would have be 5 feet tall at the front, 7 feet wide, with this opening that I'll put a screen wire on, and a little opening down on the ground for the chickens to get in and out of the coop. And like I say, slant roof down the back a little bit, and one window in one side. Very simple structure. So it's 7 feet by 5 feet and only 3.5 feet deep. Next thing I did was go to my go-to for putting little structures together, which is cardstock. So the donator this time was a graham cracker box, and it's a nice, this is one of those real big boxes like you get in Costco that had a bunch of smaller boxes inside, and it's a fairly good thickness for cereal box kind of cardboard. Non-corrugated, and I laid out the 4 walls in the roof, and I've cut them out, and all I've done so far is cut the openings in them and paint the backs all black. So if you look through the window or through the front of the coop, you're not going to see anything. It's just going to be black. So the quarter here will give you an idea of the size of the front of the coop. And that's just a little black paint over in this corner. It's not ripped or anything there, but just barely wider than a quarter. And What I'm going to do now is go into my scrap box and find assorted pieces of already stained leftover wood. And I'm going to really try to make it look like the Woodland Scenics chicken coop, where, a piece of this kind of wood, a piece of that kind of wood. I might throw in a little bit of corrugated metal underneath this window that's in the front of the coop. And just slap it together, and total cost will be pennies. So I'll save my $20 to $26 for a different purchase. As I start to assemble it, I'll add to the video. Talk to you then. So there's that little chicken coop. It's funny, I have probably 2 shelves, more than 8 foot long, stacked with kits for different structures. And yet, whenever I need a structure, I tend to scratch build it instead of building one of those kits. But in this case, I had an image of what I wanted the chicken coop to look like. I liked a lot of things about that Woodland Scenics kit, but it was a little bit too big. And quite frankly, well, 2 things. I didn't want to wait 5 or 6 days for it to show up, and I didn't feel like paying $20 to $25 for something that's just a little bit bigger than this. Now, granted, it did have some chickens with it, but I have my own chickens. So, yeah, here's another example of a scratch build that is wood over cardstock. And I didn't have to stain a single piece of wood. I did what I said I wanted to do, which was just pick things out of the scrap box, different color stains. I did put some corrugated metal here and here, kind of like the Woodland Scenics kit had. Put something in the back that'll pass for a door, in case anybody wants to know how do you get the eggs and clean the coop. Had that window on this side. Both this front window and the side one have I guess it's cloth netting from a little bag that my wife got that had, I don't even know what in it, but when I saw it I saved it because I liked the size of the grid work on it to look like HO scale wire. Now I don't know whether you can see the wire in there or not, but looks good to the eye. And the roof is simulated tar paper, just that paint. And that's it. It's going to sit over here. Maybe at a little angle out like that. We'll see. And I'm starting to work on the fencing that'll go around this whole area. A little pasture to have a couple of milk cows and some chickens for the employees of the Bangor Slate Company. You can get their milk and their eggs. Just remember, when you put fence up like this, post and rail fence, you want the rails to be on the inside of the pasture so that if a horse or a cow bumps against it, it doesn't push the boards out. So it's unfortunate because the side that's on the inside is actually a better looking side. Those are styrene. I think they're Central Valley. They come black, and I just used some craft paint on it that's called barnwood. Looks okay. Alrighty, that's it. Just remember, scratch building is a good part of the hobby. If you haven't done it yet, I wouldn't start on something this small just because they're a little bit harder to handle than something a little bit bigger. But something about this size, like this little barn shed or whatever, is a nice size to start with. Something simple with easy roof lines, and yeah, give wood over cardstock a try. All right, talk to you again.